Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Scott Compton. He's from New Point Community Church. And we are getting ready for Feed the Hungry Children.
Feed My Starving Children.
Feed My Starving Children. Well, that's even more powerful. Yeah. So let's talk about that. As you've done your own international travels and missions, and what have you seen is the greatest need? We hear about the desperate need for clean water and building wells and so forth. Hunger, food insecurity, all of those kinds of things. Have you gotten to see that firsthand, and what is happening around the world?
Sure, absolutely. Well, at New Point, we try to focus on the top 8 needs of the world, which includes a lot of what you're talking about. But we really try to push people towards what can they tangibly do here in the U.S. to make a difference in that, because it's great to recognize all those things that are happening, but if we can't actually have some action steps behind pushing towards that, how do we take care of that? So we partner with people like Feed My Starving Children to do that. So I got a chance to travel with them last year. So we packed last time in 2017. We packed about 340,000 meals that time.
Wow.
So we get to go and take a team to see on the other side of the world how that food really operates in the countries. And so
how does it? What happens then? What happens? How many people does that reach?
Sure. So Feed My Starving Children partners with organizations around the world that are already doing it in the way that New Point does as well. So they look for clinics, orphanages, feeding programs, all areas that are already operating and that they can strengthen their ministry. So then an organization then can request food through Feed My Starving Children, and that begins the partnership. So when we were in Haiti, we get to visit those orphanages, those schools, those feeding programs, and see firsthand how that food is radically changing the lives of kids and their families.
What did you get to see firsthand? Like little children getting
absolutely. Little children. So one of the ones that hit particularly close home to me, and it's kind of the one that keeps coming to my mind as I think of the meals that we're going to be packing, is we were in an orphanage with some kids that had been in the program for a couple months. And so they were able to show us some before pictures and some after pictures, and the difference that it makes even in 6 months' time when there's food security and you know the next meal's coming, not only in the physical health and the lifestyle of that kid, but in the hope that it brings to a family. And so you see the other side, the after of that, but you also see the before as these kids come in and they've not had consistent nutrition. They're just barely surviving. And so some very difficult things to see, but when you know the other side of that, you know the hope that you're bringing, that there's a positive there.
What a difference to be able to actually put a face on the person who's going to be on the receiving end of these packages.
Yeah.
We have a fun day where everybody's packing food and, the camaraderie and fellowship of that, but you're getting to see the faces of those who are receiving them.
Yeah, it's not a bag of food at the end of the day. It is really a message of hope that you're sending around the world that is not only doing a tangible good, but is doing so much of a spiritual good as you're getting kids into programs that ultimately introduce them to Jesus and change the entire direction of their life. So,
and there's that story, that saying, hungry ears are deaf anyway. There's no way a child can hear how much Jesus loves them when their stomach is growling.
Sure, yeah.
And you're getting to make a difference in that, and allowing us to participate at the same time.
Well, hoping that everyone will participate, because we recognize that as a community we're capable of so much more than we are as an individual person or an individual church, but we are called to be a community of people that respond to things like this. So.
Well, get your Sunday school class, get your Bible study group, get your book club, get your neighbors, get your family, and go to one of these websites, and we'll give them again. But either the evening of April 5th to help set up, or April 6th, sign up for one or more of these shifts to be able to put these packages together. And we'll give those websites again before we're all done. What food are we sending them? What's going to be in the package?
So the mobile pack actual food comes together with rice, and then it has a fortified soy blend in it. So they use a lot of minerals. So it's specially designed for folks that have dealt with food insecurity to be easy to digest and then to help with their development. So we get a lot of times people ask, well, why don't you send this specific food to the U.S. when natural disaster happens and those kind of things? And while Feed My Starving Children does take requests for that, they have found when they have sent samples that folks are not as keen to this kind of food here in the U.S. as they would be around the world based on texture and consistency and what it's actually.
I remember hearing stories of when people who had been in concentration camps were first given real food again. Some of them became sick because they were not accustomed to digesting it.
Yeah.
The soldiers wanted to give chocolate bars to little children, and that just made them sick. So you're taking that in mind, keeping that in mind, give them something that they can handle and digest easily. So we certainly don't want to make them sick on top of everything else.
Sure, yeah. And it's been a process and a formula that they've worked on for a long time to come up with what they have now. So it's been very good. So there are these the rice and the soy packets, and then Feed My Starving Children actually does special packets as well for nursing mothers and situations like that. So there's a good variety they're looking at every different instance that they would need.
And hopefully enough churches are doing this around our country that then this is consistent as well. These don't run out, I hope.
Correct, yes. So Feed My Starving Children, when they start a partnership, it's ongoing. So these organizations that are getting food one year will continue to get food in the future. So Feed My Starving Children has continued to grow exponentially since it originated. So they're only reaching more people.
Can you imagine being a family? I mean, as a parent, you don't want anything bad to happen to your children at all. Being a family where you haven't been able to feed your own children, and then knowing that you will be, and that it's in perpetuity, you will be able to continue to feed your family, what that must do, not just for the children, but for the parents of these children. Did you get to see some of that?
Oh, absolutely. And you're exponentially improving the life of a family because when you don't have food or you don't have water, your entire existence is just trying to find those basic necessities. When you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed, when is my next food coming? Where am I going to get my next drink from? When you can bring that resource to someone, you're expanding their possibilities and their resource of time exponentially so that the family can do all kinds of things, can work, can even enjoy one another's company for some,
and use the gifts that God has given them.
Absolutely.
Their mind doesn't have to be continually on surviving.
Yeah.
Amazing. You mentioned there are 8 needs worldwide.
Yeah.
I don't want to, give you a pop quiz, but what are some of the others?
So let me see if I can remember them all off the top of my head. So there's food, water, healthcare, trade.
Well, those 4 pretty much do.
Education is a big one. Healthcare. And I'm missing 2.
That's okay. Yeah. That's all right. You did very, very well. Because I think, again, we kind of, take so much for granted living here. Compared to the rest of the world, we're all the 1%.
Sure.
And I think we just have no idea what life is like in a truly impoverished nation.
Sure.
So to be able to have a part in that, what a privilege to be able to take just a little fraction of our time or treasure and be able to support these kinds of things. Can you think of a better use of money? I can't.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can guarantee you you will never have spent a better 2 hours of your time than sending hope around the world and a tangible good. We're not asking a lot from you. So to make this kind of commitment seems like a no-brainer to me.
2 hours, seriously. I think we'd all be able to find something. All right, and no matter where you live, there's one close to you. So either at the J. Babe Stern Community Center at Newtown Mall in the old J.C. Penney building, Coshocton Elementary School, the Worcester County Fair, or the Millersburg Fairgrounds. Any of those places, whichever one of those places is nearest to you, go to one of these websites and sign up. You can go to forstark.com, and that is spelled out, F-O-R, stark.com, fortuscarawis.com, forwayne.com, fortholmes.com, and forcoshoctoncounty.com.
That's right.
And then you can either sign up for 8:30 to 10:30, 11:30 to 1:30, 2 to 4, or 4:30 to 6:30. And I'm sure Scott would allow you to be there for more than one of those times.
Yeah, you want to sign up for everything you can, we will gladly accept you. You will become an all-star volunteer in our eyes.
That's awesome. Okay, so it's April 5th and 6th. So coming up, get it on your calendar because we're going to be able to feed starving children around the world.
Absolutely.
You also do things closer to home as far as reaching people even in our, not so far away, even in our own country, where it's hard to believe, but there are even people in our own townships and communities who face food insecurity, and New Point's involved with that. Tell us what you do there.
Sure. So each of our campuses partners with the local food pantry in their community as a starting point, and then also any local pregnancy centers that are in town. We also partner with any organizations that are working towards ending human trafficking. So we really leave that up to a campus to individually invest in what they see as the most growing thing in their community and where they can make the most difference. But those partnerships exist in all 5 communities.
You are tackling such huge issues.
Well, I would say we are assisting people that are tackling with those. I mean, there are organizations out here all throughout Northeast Ohio who are doing incredible things. So we are honored that they allow us to walk alongside them with some of our resources because they're doing amazing things.
Well, isn't that what the church is actually called to be doing, is really getting in there and attacking some of these things, some of these problems?
Sure.
You have a day at least where everybody at New Point goes out in the community and it's just the church being the church. Talk about that a little bit. Are you involved with that?
I am. So I'm behind every summer we do Community Impact Day where we shut down all of our local campuses for a Sunday morning, and then we schedule jobs throughout the community. And it starts with some of our local community partners, but we also do elementary schools, local parks, anything that we can do to make a difference in the community. So we ask all of our people that would normally come to church on a Sunday to give up their time to go out in the community and do big things. So
very cool. So say somebody's listening and say, wow, I could use some helping hands doing this. How do they get on your list?
Sure. Well, typically the way that we usually start with organizations, we've done some individual work in the past, but we've gotten a little inundated with some of that kind of stuff. So we typically steer towards organizations and community outreach kind of places like that. Yeah.
So, and the church members already, they know what they would like and they sign up for the different areas that they'd like to participate in?
Sure. The website opens up usually a month before, and then we invite anybody. There's usually over 200 jobs that people can sign up for in any of our communities.
Must you attend New Point to participate?
Oh, never. No. Anything that we do on any scale is open to the community. We want to be more and more about reaching the community and knocking down all the walls that we can. So New Point isn't about New Point. It's about the big C, as you talked about, the big church.
Scott, what's the best part of your job?
Getting to actually, at the end of the day, when I go to sleep, I can lay my head on my pillow and I can tangibly run through the impact that we've made over the last couple months. Like, this is how many houses we helped rebuild after the latest hurricane. This is how many children we sponsored this month through Compassion. This is the amount of food that we're going to pack through Feed My Starving Children. Like, at the end of the day, I just feel honored to be able to just kind of guide the resources that God has given us in a tangible, impactful way, knowing that not only are we sending hope, but we're sending the message of Jesus and that people are being reached in a real practical way.
What is New Point's website in case people just want to find out more overall?
Sure. It's just newpoint.org. And remember that New Point has an E on the end of it. But newpoint.org, you can see all of our service times, our locations. You can meet some of the staff, and you can even live stream some of the services on Sunday and all that kind of stuff.
New Point Community Church and Feed My Starving Children. Scott Compton, thank you for what you're doing in our community.
Thank you for having me.